morning, parents. Our passage this morning is from Psalm chapter 25, verse 14. Just one verse, and I'm going to read there. It says, "The friendship of the Lord is for those who fear him, and he makes known to them his covenant." I think it's safe to say for all Christian parents that we desire for our children to have a friendship with the Lord, that he would be someone that they are just always communicating with, talking to throughout their day, who's of course with them and in their mind as they are at school or playing with friends or wherever they're at, whatever they're doing, they would just have this strong relationship, even friendship with God. That would be our hope and our desire for them. And the awesome thing here about this passage is that it's saying, well, it's possible, right? And that the friendship of the Lord is for those who fear him. So it's for those who live within the presence of God, those who submit under God's authority, those who are in awe of God. And we also know as Christian parents that we can't make our children fear God. We can't make our children become Christians. But what we can do is we can put the Lord and put God's word always before them, right? So we can always be speaking of the Lord and always be using God's word and delivering it to our children, always putting it before them with the hopes and the desire that they then might fear the Lord. And God, of course, uses those things in order for our children to fear him. And so we want to make sure that, in the morning, in the evening, throughout the day, that we're putting God's word before them so that they might fear God. And that, we're just also speaking of the Lord all the time to our children. As we go outside and we behold God's wonderful creation, that we're pointing out the glory of God in all of creation for them so that they might be in awe of who God is and his creation and what he's done. And so as this happens, right, as they begin to fear the Lord, well, they'll have then a friendship with God. And one of the ways that, that there's evidence that our children actually do have friendship with God is that they're always talking about him. So that their speech of God, their talk of God, is just as common or more common than any other speech that they actually have. So if we want to test, do our children have a friendship with God? The answer is, to test that is, well, are they always speaking about the Lord? Right? And this is going to manifest itself in simple ways and profound ways. Right? In the simple ways, our children will always be speaking of the Lord. It's kind of just that, Sunday school kind of speech, the answers to questions about life are just always going to be Jesus, right? They're just always answering Jesus and saying Jesus about everything in one sense. And maybe, it's a little silly in one sense that they're always answering Jesus. But in another way, right, it's actually sweet. It's actually beautiful that the Lord, that Jesus Christ himself is always on their lips and they're speaking about him. And so it's going to happen in those kind of simple ways where they're talking about Jesus. But then it's also going to happen in profound ways where we might see them sharing the gospel with their friends, talking to relatives about God. Right? They're going to actually share the gospel even as children, right? Or they're going to have profound insight into scriptures. Like that can happen even from children. And so, do they have a friendship with God? We're going to know this if they're always talking about the Lord. And they're going to be always talking about the Lord in simple ways or in profound ways. But their speech about God is always present. One of the things it says too here in this passage is that he makes known to them his covenant. So God makes known to his friends his covenant. For them it was the old covenant. For us it's the new covenant. I was thinking about this the other day. I was around some people who are just, not friends of God. And so then they don't know his covenant. They don't know the covenant promises of God. And what that results in, there's a certain sense of hopelessness that I see within them. There's a certain sense of emptiness that I see within their lives. A depressive state, right? And in contrast to that are the people of God and Christians, those who are friends with God, and they have the promises of God, the new covenant promises of God that they believe and that they hold on to, that they have faith in. And this results in joy within their heart and a song on their lips, a fruitfulness in their life, a flourishing and a fruitfulness. Why? Because God has made known to them his covenant, his promises for them. Paul says in Colossians that he was speaking to Christians, I know about the hope that's laid up for you in heaven. And so Christians know and believe of a hope that's laid up for them in heaven, right, where there's no more tears and no more pain and no more death. And they believe that that's coming, and it's a sure promise. And that fills them with joy and puts a song on their lips. And of course, this is what we want to see within the lives of our children, that they would be, flourishing, that they would be fruitful, that they would be believing the promises of God, and that God would be making known to them his new covenant. This is what he does for his friends. And so we want to pray into this. We want to ask that, man, Lord, would our children have a friendship with you? Would they fear you, God? That would they know you? And would you make known to them your covenant and all of its wonderful things? So I hope this helps you this week, and I look forward to continuing to build faith in families. God bless.